I wanted to start off by just telling you some fun facts about rabbits that make them such a cool animal. Talk about some of the things that people might not think about before they become a bun parent, and then some exciting fun things about being a bun parent. And then the reason I wanted to do it around this time of year is because of Easter time and what you all can look out for with domestic rabbits sometimes getting released into the wild. So rabbits are crepuscular. They are active during dawn and dusk, which is like the morning and the evening time frames. Outside of those time frames, they are usually sleeping. This is George completely passed out. They also developed the ability to sleep with their eyes open, so they can sleep in short bursts with their eyes open. So Pepper over here in loaf position could potentially be sleeping. They have double digestion, which if anybody is familiar with, like the most popular example is a cow. A cow has double digestion and they have the multi-chambered stomachs and they chew cud, but rabbits actually have double digestion and they only have a simple stomach. So they eat their food and they will poop out something called a cecotrope, which is also called a cecal, and it looks kind of like a slimy blackberry. It's very nutrient dense, has a lot of nutrients in it, and they eat it directly from their butt. And then they will digest it again and then poop out what you are probably familiar with as rabbit poop. On the digestive theme, they can go into something called gastrointestinal or GI stasis. They are constantly eating and their digestive system is constantly moving. So if there's ever an obstruction or a slowing of the digestive system, like if you guys get an upset stomach, they actually have an inability to barf. They can't vomit. So it can be a life-threatening condition. And so just as a bun parent for domestic rabbits, it's important to look out for signs of stasis. And we can, if you all are interested in that, we can talk about that later. But I don't have any pictures of stasis, and so this is just more cute pictures of George lounging. This is the opposite of a rabbit in stasis because he's very comfortable and happy. Another reason they constantly are eating and constantly chewing things is because their teeth don't stop growing. They can grow 1 centimeter per month, so it's important to provide domestic rabbits with appropriate things to chew on. So like little wood pieces or anything made out of hay, like Pepper's on a hay mat right there. They also love hiding, so like the Heidi hay hut's a great option. And then over there is Cordelia. She's in a cardboard box. A fan favorite of all rabbits is cardboard. They love chewing cardboard, so like paper towel rolls after you're done getting out or toilet paper roll. Those are great options for a rabbit to chew on. You can get their treats at basically any grocery store. It's important to buy organic for them, but old-fashioned oats is a great choice. Fruits like bananas, apples, or berries. And then bell peppers, classic one is carrots. Everybody thinks of rabbits with carrots, but actually they're very high in sugar content. So we have Neverland dwarfs, they're like 3 pounds. We give them per sitting maybe like half of a baby carrot or like a small baby carrot. You can also give them dried fruits, but the dried fruits at the grocery stores have a lot of sugar, so don't get those. If you want to get dried fruits, get them at a pet store, like for rabbit treats. Urban Tales Pet Supply, just shout out to them. They're over on Lindale. They have a great selection of rabbit treats. And yeah, you can bake your own treats too. If you just take like mushed up banana and grind up some hay and bake them for a little bit, it's a great treat for them. They have pellets that they eat every day, and then every day they should get some form of greens. The darker the green, the better for them. So that's the same with humans. They absolutely should never have iceberg lettuce. It's very high in water content and can mess with their digestive system. And then herbs like parsley or cilantro. This is Rocco eating some cilantro. And then the base, like the main part of their diet, is hay. They should have access to hay, unlimited hay all day. Timothy hay is main base, but you can mix in some fun choices like orchard grass and oat hay to like make them still interested in eating the hay. And that kind of brings me to one of my first tidbits of something I did not know before I got rabbits. If you're allergic to rabbits, or if you're allergic to cats and dogs, and that's the reason why you're getting rabbits, make sure you're also not allergic to hay. Because it will get everywhere. You can contain it pretty well, but inevitably you're gonna like track it around the house. It's gonna get on the bottom of your sock or whatever, and it's gonna get places you don't want it, and you're gonna wanna clean it up. You have to clean their cages anyways. I've gone through like 10 different vacuums, trying to figure out like what type of vacuum to clean up hay is it's a mess. So I am here to tell you the Bissell Clean View Swivel Upright Bedless Vacuum is the one that you need. Next thing that people might not know about is they are considered an exotic pet. So a normal vet that takes dogs and cats might not take a rabbit. You need to find a specialty vet or an exotic vet. Either way, no matter where you take them, the cost is going to be like 3 times more expensive for any service than if you were to have a dog or a cat. Bonding rabbits can be kind of stressful. If you follow any rabbit accounts online, there's usually like 2 or 3 of them living together, or if you adopt a rabbit, they'll always tell you to try to bond it with another rabbit. It's a good idea because they're a social animal, but they're also very territorial. So from my experience, I had George and I brought Pepper in, tried to bond him as a mate, and they got in a fight when Pepper was pretty young, and George took a bite out of Pepper's leg, and he had to get sutures. I would say that incident had made them just not be able to bond for the rest of their lives. So I'm not telling you. I did try multiple times too. Every time we moved to a different apartment, I thought maybe neutral territory, like less territorial, didn't work. And I'm not sharing this because I want to discourage anybody from bonding rabbits. It's a really good idea to try, but I'm just letting you know that sometimes it's just not going to work. And you just have to make a decision about whether you get rid of that new rabbit that you're bringing into your home or you live the rest of your life with a baby gate. They're also not good for pets, or for not a good pet for kids. They're great for pets. They don't like sudden movements or noises. They don't like getting pet too often. It's always on their terms. And I think it's a prey animal thing, like being on the ground level. They definitely don't like getting picked up very much. And it takes a lot of patience to bond with them. They do require a good amount of space. This is an example of a pen for a rabbit. You can have the cages too. No matter what you have to contain them, they're going to have a little bit of time for exercise and like running around throughout the day. So you're going to have some sort of space for them to be able to do that. The best option is to let your rabbit be free roam so they can decide when they want to exercise throughout the day and when they want to sleep. And if you have a free roam rabbit, you're definitely going to have to bunny proof your house. Like I said before, giving them the appropriate things to chew on will help make sure they don't go after like your baseboards or your furniture and chew everything. But no matter what you try, they will always go for the cords. So just hide the cords. Your laptop charger, your phone charger, anything that can come out of the wall, it has to always come out of the wall. Or we have been successful with critter cord. So it's like a plastic tubing that goes around cords if you have like a TV or something that you don't want to like unplug all the time. They actually are a long-term commitment. The smaller they are, the longer they live. So 8 to 12 years, and then the smaller ones can sometimes live up to 15 or so years. They are clean, contrary to what you might think. They litter box train themselves. You can also easily litter box train them if they don't do it themselves. And their litter is very easily accessible. You can get like huge bag of wood pellets, which is the type of litter I would recommend from like any hardware store for like $8. Those are like wood pellets you put into a pellet stove. They smell nice and they soak up everything, so your litter box smells nice for a longer period of time. They actually are quiet too. They don't bark or like make any noises. They don't lick when you don't want them to. Their behavior is extremely interesting. One of my favorites is binking. So when they get really excited, they'll run around and they can't control their excitement, so they jump in the air and contort their body, and they're just like excited and they binky. And then they also purr like other animals do. It's chattering of their teeth. So if you're petting them from their nose to the back of their forehead and they are happy and content, you can feel a little clicking, and that's their teeth chattering and they're purring. It is rewarding to gain their trust, which involves a lot of laying on the ground or sitting on the ground, getting on their level. And it might not seem very exciting at first to be on the ground, but it's become a very mindful practice of mine. So like sitting on the ground and petting my rabbit is a great relaxing activity. They are smart, and you can play with them with the different enrichment activities. If you hide treats anywhere, they will find them. If you can do activity boards, you can hide them in stacking cups. They also, just by nature, love burrowing. So if you put treats inside a bunch of hay, they will burrow through the hay to get their treats. Great. So cute pictures of rabbits are interrupted to give the PSA about post-Easter abandonment. It is a very common practice or popular choice of parents to get their kids rabbits for Easter. And Easter rabbits belong in costume form and chocolate form, not pet form, but maybe not even in costume form. You will be able to tell a domestic rabbit out in the wild, usually just by the size, or if their ears are flopping over, if they're different coloring than a wild rabbit, or especially if they let you walk up to them and pet them, then that is definitely a domestic rabbit that has been released into the wild. And if you do see one, you can either capture it, or you can and then reach out to one of these rescues, or there's actually quite a few rescues in the Twin Cities, to be honest, but these are just 4 of them. Or if you aren't able to capture it, you can still reach out to them. Usually domestic rabbits will stay in like a small area, so they will pop back up after a while. I mentioned I had 2 rabbits. I actually recently lost one of mine, so I wanted to dedicate this to George. He is a Netherland dwarf breed, and he was 2.5 pounds and an amazing rabbit, so rip George. He was 11.5, so he lived a long, happy life. So, and that's it. Oh, like agility? Yes, you can train a rabbit. Some of them are like better at recognizing their names immediately. That's the key, is if they can like come or recognize you when they're calling it the rabbit's name. But yeah, you can. And like agility courses are classic, yeah.
Do they end up following you? I know you said you like go to that.
Yeah. So the larger breeds will act more like a cat or a small dog. So if you get like a giant blue, like they might come up and like snuggle you if you're laying on the ground, but I don't know, not really. Yeah.
So if you go on vacation for a week, how often does someone have to come and rabbit sit?
I guess it depends on your situation. So my one rabbit, Pepper, is very healthy, has always been very healthy, and doesn't have any medical issues, and so all he really requires is the hay and the pellets and the greens and stuff, so like once a day maybe. But my other rabbit, George, that was George. That was a scan of George because he had scoliosis. And it caused him to get arthritis very early in life. And he also had like just a lot of medical issues. You can see like curvature in his spine, like right here. I think for him, like I wouldn't leave him. I would either board him at a place that does boarding, or I would, at the end of his life, I wouldn't have left him alone at all. Yeah. No thoughts. Yeah.
I heard of like this rabbit behavior where they kind of act like they're dead. Is this like a real thing?
I don't know if they like play dead, but they definitely look dead when they're sleeping. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. I don't know. You might know more than I. I've never had cats, so I don't know. I've seen, like, obviously social media is a joke, but like I've seen social media accounts with them living together, so it might be possible. Yeah. Can I what? Can I speak more about it? Like the signs of it, the signs of GI stasis. So it can be like anything. It could be an environmental change. It could be they just get scared. It could also be like George used to go into stasis actually quite a bit. And he was our first rabbit, and we couldn't figure out why. And that's why we ended up doing this scan, because we found out that he was just constantly in pain because he had scoliosis. So if they're in pain, they can go into it. It's just like them not remembering to eat, or like something causing them to not do their normal activities in life, which is just eating and digesting. And you can tell pretty quickly. Like they'll be huddled in their cage in the corner, or they just look generally uncomfortable. If they don't respond to treats, if they won't eat their treats or they won't be eating their food, that's a big telltale sign. Yep.
Did you ever let them outside?
I did, and actually that is a controversial subject because there is a rabbit virus that kind of popped up around the time that COVID popped up, RHDV, and it's a virus that is going around in like wild rabbits, and you can like track it in on your clothes and your shoes and stuff. And so, and just in general, there's other things that if you bring your rabbit outside, they can pick up. And I used to take my rabbits to happy hour, which was like a time where other rabbits would go and hang out with each other and run around. It's like happy hour, but happy hour. And they didn't want the rabbits to have gone outside because they could track something, get something, and bring it to the other rabbits. So, but I have, like in an enclosed area, brought them out. And also there's like those pop-up tents that have the bottoms are covered as well. So to be honest, my rabbits never liked going outside because it's just too noisy. There's too much going on. They really like their environment that they're comfortable with. That's a good question. Like, I don't know if there are certain breeds that, I don't know.
What was the question?
If there's certain breeds, or maybe like how long have rabbits been bred domestically, and are there certain breeds that are maybe more wild than other breeds? I don't know that. Yeah. I did not know anybody. I just really liked them. Yeah, go ahead. You can go. A bun parent, someone that likes to be at home a lot, and true heart is a homebody. That person would really like to be a bun parent, or would be a good bun parent. And then someone who's just like pretty patient and not likes to party all the time, I guess, or like have a ton of parties and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, my last one. I swear.
No, that's fine.
How long does it last? I don't know why that's very interesting.
The hay. So if you can actually go to like MCRS, the Minnesota Companion Rabbit Society, they sell hay once a month or something. They have happy hours, and you can go and get like a giant leaf bag full of hay, and that's really cheap. But you like going to like Urban Tales to get hay, I don't know. With one rabbit, for sure, we go through less. Maybe like once a month we're buying hay, something like that. It's not very expensive. Yeah.
Just because I know everybody's wondering, can you say more about the half poop situation?
The seagulls. Actually, seagulls, if you do see them and they're sitting out, that's a good sign that they are going into stasis, because that means that they are not like tempted enough to eat that poop, that they just left it on the ground, and that's bad. They should be immediately eating it from their butt immediately. Like, you probably have never seen a seagull, because it just like, it shouldn't be something that you see when they're healthy.